Hello Year 6, welcome to your maths video for Thursday. Well done on your work yesterday, you all did a brilliant job. So we are moving on today, moving on to something slightly different. But just before we get started, I have got an imposter challenge for you today because I know how much you enjoy finding the imposters. So I have got my 10 maths questions that I want you to have a really close look at because some of them might not be right, so then they are the imposters. Okay, and just like last week, there's more than one imposter, so you've got to check really carefully. There's even more imposters than last week, but I'm not telling you how many there are, so go through really carefully. So first one is 100 times 3.4 equals 3,400. Have a think whether that's right. If it's not, then they are an imposter. 10 cubed, take away 50, is 950. So think carefully about what 10 cubed is. This one then, we've got some brackets. So 3 times 15 divided by 9 is 5. This one then is a sequence question. So the one I've underlined, so is that the correct next number in the sequence? That's what you need to look for on this one. So you've got 1.5, 1.75, 2.05. So the underlined one, is that right? If not, then it's an imposter. Then you've got 1,342 add 620. So you can use your place value knowledge for that one. Does it equal 1,962? 15% of 20. Remember to find 15%. We can find 10%, find 5%, add them together. 80 divided by 1,000 is 0.08. This one says a quarter is greater than a half. 130 times 4. For this one, you could use your known facts. So you could forget the 0 and you could think about what 13 times 4 is. If you're not sure what 13 times 4 is, you could think about what 12 times 4 is. Add a 4 on, that will give you 13 times 4. Just don't forget to add that 0 back on. And then your last one says angles around a point equal 360 degrees. Okay, so I'll move out of the way so that you can pause the video. Have a go at finding all of the imposters. That's your challenge. Okay, your work for today then. So your learning question today says, can I work out what calculations to use to solve a problem? Okay, we've been doing absolutely brilliantly recently on all of our maths work, but today I just want to look at reasoning questions in general and a range of calculations and a range of operations. So, because I want you to become a bit better at becoming a bit more independent with working out what you might need to do to solve a question. Okay, so let's have a look at some of your questions then. So question 1 says, Sean ate 3 biscuits every day in 2013. Sounds a little bit like me. Except for his birthday, when he ate 7. And on Christmas Day, when he only ate 1. He's obviously eating too much turkey on Christmas Day, wasn't he, for biscuits? How many biscuits did Sean eat in total in 2013? Now, I think you'll all be pretty fine with this question. Just want to give you a couple of hints. There are 365 days in a year. I know some of you will already know that, but some of you might have forgotten. So in 2013, there was 365 days. Okay, so if you do 365, take away the 2 days. Let's take off his birthday, take off his birthday, take off Christmas Day. Forget about those for a minute. So 365 take away 2 is 363. So if you do 363 times 3, that will tell you how many biscuits he ate for the most of 2013. Then once you've got that, you need to add on the 7 for his birthday and the 1. So you need to add on 8 for Christmas Day and birthday. And that will give you your answer. Okay? Question 2 then says a plumber charges £24 for a call out, then £12 for every 30 minutes. Nadia calls out a plumber who stays for 2 hours and also charges her an extra £50 for parts. How much does she spend? So again, I think you'll all be okay with this question. Just remember that call out charge, that £24, she's got to pay on top of his hourly rate. So that £24 and that 50, she's got to pay anyway. So do the 24 and the 50. Work that out first, okay, because that's sort of the extra charges. Then work out how much she spent for the 2 hours. So remember, it was, it's £12 for every 30 minutes. So for half an hour, it's £12. But he stayed for 2 hours. So you need to work out how many 30 minutes go into 2 hours, how many half an hours are in 1 hour, how many half an hours then will be in 2 hours, and you need to do 12 times that amount. Okay, so you need to do 2 hours divided by 30 minutes, do 12 times that, and then you need to add it on to this. Okay, you have a go at working that one out then. Question 3 says, Dave bought some carrots and used half of them to make some soup. He gave half of the remaining carrots to his rabbit, ate 5 himself, and put the last 7 in the freezer. How many carrots did Dave buy? Okay, this one, it sounds more confusing than it is. Okay, so we just work out first what half of his remaining carrots were. So he ate 5 and he put 7 in the freezer. Okay, so 7 add 5 is 12. Okay, so that was for half of the remaining carrots. So we need to do 12 times 2. Okay, so 24 is half of the overall amount of carrots. Okay, because remember it said here he used half of them to make some soup. Okay, so that's only for half. So you now need to figure out what you need to do to figure out how much it was altogether. If that's half, what you're going to do to figure out what the full amount is. Question 4 then says Ed is 3 years older than his brother. Ed's mum is 4 times older than Ed's brother. Ed's dad is 2 years younger than Ed's mum, and Ed's dad is 46. Okay, now just be careful here, because I made this mistake when I first read this question. I straight away thought it was going to ask us how old Ed was, but it doesn't. It says, what single calculation could you do to find Ed's age? Okay, so let's start with Ed's dad. Okay, so we're going to have to work backwards. So to work out Ed's age, you start with Ed's dad, you'd work out how old his mum is. So Ed's dad is 2 years younger than Ed's mum. So you do 46 add 2 first. That's your first calculation. So we're going to pop that in brackets. 46 add 2. That's your first thing you're going to have to do. Okay. Then it said Ed's mum is 4 times older than Ed's brother. So once you've got that in brackets, you need to divide it by 4, don't you? Okay. Then I'm going to leave the last bit to you. It said Ed is 3 years older than his brother. So once you've got here, this is Ed's brother's age. What you're going to do to finish it off, you need another operation there to show how old Ed is. Okay, and then for a little challenge, you could follow it and work out how old Ed is. Okay, I'm sure you'll all be able to have a good go at that one. Okay, so that's all of your questions on page 16. On page 17 then, the first one says Mitchell has 240 songs on his laptop. 1/6 of the songs are the ones he has written himself. Mitchell deletes 1/4 of the songs he has written himself and then adds 4 more of his own songs to the laptop. So the question you're asked then is, how many of his own songs does Mitchell now have on his laptop? Okay, so first of all then, you're going to have to work out how many he had originally. So it was 1/6 of the songs he has written himself. So the first thing you need to do is 1/6 of 240. Okay, and that will tell you how many songs he had written originally before he deleted any. Okay, Mitchell deletes 1/4 of the songs he has written himself. So once you've got this here, you then need to find 1/4 of that number. Okay, find 1/4 of that number, and then once you've got that, you need to add 4. Okay, so let me just recap quickly. 1/6 of 240. So remember to do that, we do 240 divided by 6 multiplied by 1. That will give you that. Once you've got that, so you need to find 1/4 of that. So remember, to find a quarter, we divide by 4, then add 4, and that will give you your answer. Okay. Then it says, write the calculations you did as a single sum. So a little bit like we just did for question 4. Okay, so I did give you quite a lot of support on question 4. So I want you to have a go at this one yourself. So have a think of what you have done. So I'll give you the first clue. Your first thing you did straight away was you found 1/6 of 240, didn't you? So straight away, in brackets, you need 240 divided by 6. That's your first step. Okay, then have a think, what else did you do? Okay, you're going to have to divide by 4 at some point, aren't you, for the quarter? You go back to this question, go back to your working out, see what you had to do and write it as a single sum. Okay, and then just double check it works before you move on. Okay, last one then. Question 6 says Rebecca makes and sells her own jewellery. The material for necklaces costs £2.20 and she sells them for £5. The materials for bracelets cost £1.05 and she sells them for £3. She spends £8.80 making necklaces and £6.30 making bracelets. She then sells them all. How much profit has Rebecca made? Okay, so profit then is the money that she's got left over. So she had to spend some money to get the materials. And then she's sold the bracelets. So whatever, she sold the bracelets and the necklaces for more than she bought the materials for. So she makes a profit of what's left over. Okay. So let's have a look then. So it's asking, how much profit has she made? So we're going to have to work out how much profit she's made on the necklaces, how much profit she's made on the bracelets, and add them together, aren't we? So let's straight away figure out. So if she sells them for £5, but she buys the materials for £2.20, we need to do £5 take away £2.20. Oh, make my decimal points. Right, and that will tell you how much profit she makes on one necklace. Okay, and then same for the bracelets. She sells them for £3. Okay, but the materials cost £1.05. Okay, and again, that will tell you how much profit she makes on one bracelet. Okay, but here then it says she spends £8.80 making necklaces and £6.30 making bracelets. So £8.80 making necklaces then. For one necklace, it's £2.20. So you need to figure out how many necklaces is in £8.80. So you need to do £8.80, but I know you all know what 88 divided by 22 is. So you can work that out mentally and just add your zeros back on. So you need to do £8.80 divided by £2.20 to work out how many necklaces there are. You also then need to do £6.30 divided by £1.5, sorry. £6.30 divided by £1.5, and that will tell you how many bracelets she made. And then once you've got your answers for that, you then need to multiply it by your answers for this. Sorry, it's getting a bit confusing because I haven't got any answers. So the profit so this is your profit for necklaces, isn't it? Okay, so your answer for the necklace question here, you need to multiply that by that answer. So if I was you, I'd split your working out section into necklaces and bracelets so you don't get confused. Okay, so once you've got your answer for this one, £8.80 divided by £2.20, you need to multiply that by this. Okay, because this is how many necklaces she made, and this is how much profit she makes per necklace. Okay, so if you multiply those together, that will tell you how much profit she has made for all of those necklaces. Okay, say for your bracelet one then, do £6.30 divided by £1.5, and then multiply your answer by the profit here that she makes per necklace. Okay? Sorry if that was a little bit long-winded, a little bit confusing. Just try your best. But like I said, if I was you, you could draw a line down the middle, write necklaces, bracelets, keep it all completely separate, and then at the end, just add it up. Okay, don't forget to add your answers together at the end. Your very last question then on page 17 is your challenge question. And this is a little bit like the countdown challenge that we do sometimes for a starter. So it says use the numbers below to reach a target of 100. So you've been given 23, 4, 16, 5, 8 and 37. Okay. It says you can add, subtract, multiply or divide the numbers together in any order, but you can only use each number once or not at all. So you haven't got to use every single number, but you can only use them once. How many different ways can you make 100? What about if you can use each number more than once? Okay, so just a little challenge for you. Have a go at making 100. If you haven't used all the numbers, can you have another go and try and use every single number? And then have a go and see how you could get there if you can use the numbers more than once. Okay, so a nice little challenge there for you to finish off today's lesson. Okay, so good luck with all of your maths work for today. I'm sure you'll do absolutely brilliantly with these questions. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of your work later on today. And I will see you all tomorrow.